So about 4 weeks ago, I found a producer list on Google, and I decided to write a pitch and email all the producers there, because when I was 16, MTV approached me about a TV show for teen entrepreneurs, and then they couldn't find any suitable entrepreneurs, I guess, kind of besides me, to be a part of the show. So I wrote all these pitches and I heard back from a bunch of them, talked to A&E and Lifetime about the show, and then I heard back from a pretty big company, Warner Brothers, one of their like subcategory things for production. And so we set up the meeting. It was supposed to be yesterday and we did it today, May 25th at 11 a.m. So I drove there with Gabe and he dropped me off, and I went inside and there's this big office and it was so pretty. And I went in and just talked to this guy, and he pretty much was like, said a bunch of things that I don't usually hear, because usually people are like, you're 19, you're an entrepreneur, like, wow, that's so great, like, how can we make this into something bigger than, I guess, kind of what you are doing right now. And he was basically like, don't, like, this idea is really not important, like, there's no things about mission-based statements right now. You know, he had the Cash Me Outside girl, her, which is like pretty much against my messaging, on the walls and everything. We just sat there for pretty much like 40 minutes, and he basically was like, I don't want to give you any bad advice, I don't want to give you any advice and like make you kind of like hate me and whatever, but like this is just not something, like maybe try and figure out something else to do, and just a bunch of stuff like that. Or that I needed to team up with a celebrity, like I needed to team up with somebody who's like a real influencer, quote unquote. I don't really know what a real influencer is, but he said that I need to team up with a real influencer. So I left the meeting, and then I just started crying, and I was so upset, and I am still so upset, and it's been like 30 minutes since we left, 45. And I just feel like, you know when you just feel like, why are you doing this? Like, here I am, like, yeah, you do these things, you go on TV once and you have this like mission and whatever, but like I don't have 1 million followers, I don't have 20 million followers. Like, I'm appealing to a group of like kids who are the kids that I want to reach, who are like, ugh, please, I don't want to start crying again. Okay. Like kids who are just like, I guess, like me. I really can't put this in this video.
Cutting it out.
That like want to, I guess, like escape their small town and do something with their life. So I left and just started crying, and I'm still crying because I just feel like, why am I doing this? But there's this little thing in the back of my head that says like, I know I am doing this, and I know I am doing this because when I was growing up, like, I wish that there was somebody who I could look up to, who was so real and like didn't come from anything, and had a vision and had a dream and was born into it and was just working for it. So yeah, I'm gonna compare myself to all these other people who are gonna move to California, gonna move to New York, gonna try and do the same goal. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in this world, and especially when somebody who's so high in their position, who's like best friends with Ashton Kutcher, who tells you that like it's not gonna go anywhere, but there's just that one little thing in the back of my head that just tells me that I have to keep pushing. And I feel like it's important to show a video like this, because this is the stuff that actually happened, and I can either stop right now, stop what I'm doing, or I can just keep pushing for it. And even if it doesn't become necessarily what I want it to become in 10 years from now, just the fact that I'll be able to look back on this wherever I am and think like, oh my god, I got so caught up in somebody telling me that like I wasn't good enough, when you just have to, I guess, be good enough for like yourself. And I can't let something like that change the way that I'm. Sorry about that, my camera died and I just got it, so I have no clue how to properly charge a Canon Canon G7X, but I'm learning. But it's been about 4 hours since I stopped. 4, 5, 6, 8 hours since we stopped filming that video. I stopped crying, obviously, but crying is totally human. So if you ever want to just cry, just fucking cry, because who cares if you're crying or not. Crying is a great way to talk about your feelings and make yourself feel better. But I had some time to think it over after a few hours. I'm definitely still a little bit upset. I've never been, you know, told something that directly in a while. When I was first starting out, I was told that all the time. Don't get me wrong, I'm still told no all the time now, but the no are for smaller things, not a bigger thing. That's kind of my life, my job, like the way that I make a living. So that was a little bit of a blow, but at the end of the day, I am doing something that I love. I'm doing something that I've been doing for 5 years now, that I finally managed to figure out how to make it a career for myself, how to make it sustainable so that I can live off of this, and it just makes me want it even more. And that's the thing, is when somebody tells you no, rework your brain to think, okay, somebody told me no, so let's prove them wrong. So that means in 5 years from now, if 5 months from now, whatever, something always comes back around and is better and will make you feel like you can go back to that person who told you no, and you can say, look at what I've done, and I didn't even need your help. So just remember that whenever you're feeling down, everybody tells you that you're not good enough, and when you feel like you are literally doing the worst in the entire world that I felt like today, you've got to keep that one sliver of hope in the back of your mind that makes you want to keep pushing, because that one little piece that you are going to follow is the thing that is going to make you successful. For whatever reason you want to be successful for, you could never give up. I guess one thing you have to realize is that at the end of the day, you're only human. That bad things are going to happen all the time. That things are going to happen that make you feel so worthless, and that when those things happen, you have two options, which is what I said earlier. The option that you could either come back strong as hell, better than what you even thought you could be, because that person thought that you could make it, because that person told you no, or you can let those emotions take over you. You can get depressed, you can get sad, you cannot want to keep going, you can give up. And all of these people out there, all these people trying for maybe the goal that I'm trying for, maybe the goal that you're trying for, all those people that are in your field that you look up to, like the people that I look up to, like maybe some actresses or actors and whatnot, a lot of them, the most successful ones, the ones that were born organically, the ones that, you know, you didn't know before they got that one big thing. Those people say in the media, they say how hard they worked for it, that they worked for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 20 years before they even made it. And you're gonna get told no so many times. And again, it just comes down to this thing, how much do you believe in this, you know, yourself, even your best friend? If you have nobody else who believes in you, like I know that I have my best friend in the entire world. Even if I have nobody else, I know that at the end of the day, he believes me. Even if I write, you know, an article, I post this video and 2 people watch it, like those two people believe in me. And there's always somebody out there who's dealing with the same thing. So let your emotions, whenever something bad happens, deal with them, cry, get upset, you know, and then after a few hours, get back up and say, what can I do now that's actually going to change the world? And that's what I had to do today, and that's what I'm going to have to do tomorrow when I wake up in a happy mood. Something bad's probably going to happen again, because that's how life is, and you just have to get back up and figure out how to deal with it.